Thank you so much for watching my paper cutout animation of Dune. Let me talk a little bit about how I actually made it. I came across this trailer and really thought, okay, this is something I could recreate using paper cutouts. I've been really fascinated with paper cutout animation, kind of thinking the early days of South Park, right, when they actually used paper cutouts to animate the characters. But I've never actually done paper cutout animation. So it took a little bit of figuring out exactly how I was going to tackle this problem. So the first thing was just looking at the trailer and looking through everything that took place in this. So I broke this thing down into a spreadsheet. It's 37 individual shots. But once you start going through, because when you initially watch the trailer, you see it and you're like, ah, there's not that many characters. Once you start going through, you list the number of characters that have to be created, and every one of those characters that needs to be created has to be drawn in some capacity. The list starts getting really long. So what I ended up designing was this template that I created in Photoshop, where we have kind of a first kind of front-facing view of the character, and then we have a profile view of the character. And so in any shot, we can either see them in front-facing or profile. Now, the characters are held together. You have all these different individual pieces of paper. And initially I was thinking it would be pretty easy because gravity should do most of the work, right? It should hold it down, and then I should just be able to move each one of the pieces. Now the thing is, there's a lot of friction on the paper, and so there sort of needs to be points where it's anchored. And so I ended up using sticky tack on most of the joints, and just a tiny little glob of sticky tack, and that allowed for there to be some cohesion here, but I could still actually manipulate or move the joint a little bit frame by frame to get that stop motion animation. Almost all the drawing was done with pencil, colored pencil, and then a little bit of pen for some sort of outline work, a little bit of kind of detail shading in, and occasionally a little Sharpie here or there. But that was pretty much it. It was cardstock where the characters were printed on, and then a little colored pencil, and pen work to kind of create those actual designs.
So for instance, for this shot, I drew this background plate to go behind them, and I was gonna overlay like pieces of construction paper to kind of make these chunks here on the screen, but I'm realizing the background here is already black. I'm just gonna cut these out of this piece, and that way we have the same shape.
It's weird because you watch the trailer and it's 30 seconds long and it all kind of just flashes by. And so when I was thinking about it, I wasn't really considering crowds. Like, how do you do crowds? And so I would say we have a couple different kinds of crowds in this trailer. One, we have crowds from really, really far away. And in that case, I just use little lines on a piece of paper.
So I know this seems simple, but just drawing all of these tiny little people on this paper, my hand is so, it was just a Sharpie marker. Drawing lines in there. My hand hurts so bad. I wasn't even gripping it that hard, I swear.
In other cases, we have this kind of up-close crowd, and there's this shot of all of these Fremen, and they have their knives, and they're like raising them up in the air. I created this row of Fremen characters, and you can see some of the arms have fallen off, but they each have an individual arm attached on the back. And so while they're connected at the base, so they kind of all stay in a line, I can individually raise up each one of these arms.
All right, so working on this battle shot here. This is what we got here. I feel like these battle shots are the hardest because they're like moving and spinning, and these figures can go like dimension A or dimension B. You're trying to match the action as best you can. You're trying to get the general motion right, but it's not really about getting the specifics of like how they're moving exactly correct.
I thought the animation would actually go a lot faster, but because of all of the different pieces, sometimes in a single shot you have multiple items layered on top of each other. And so if you move the item on the top, right, maybe that's the character, and then there's someone in the background, you don't want that person in the background to end up moving as well. Like someone might bump something that's a mountain behind them, right? Like the mountain shouldn't be moving. So making sure everything lines up and getting all of those individual shots was more difficult than I thought it would be. Probably the hardest shot in this is so fast. It's a group of soldiers and they're all lowering their like weapons, lowering their spears. This is the shot here. And actually all of these soldiers are one individual piece. So they're all taped on here, but they're sort of one individual piece with individual arms then attached via sticky tack on top. And then obviously these are just pieces of construction paper that are cut out as their sort of spears. You just end up spending so much time just like very detailed, like cutting out all the individual contours. Something you don't think about when the shot goes by for like half a second in the trailer.
So my thought is, if we watch the video, it goes, the there's sort of this bloom that happens, this very slight bloom on the E. But it is brighter at the beginning, and then it gets dimmer, right? So it gets dimmer, and these lines kind of come in. My thought is to basically go through with a white pencil and just make it a little bit bigger each frame, but then in the actual videos to play in reverse. So let's see if that works.
Overall, this was a really cool project, and I'm really glad that I was able to do it and kind of made it through the end. I was anticipating this taking me a week. It's been about a month since I started. I put about 30 hours into this 30-second trailer, so I really hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun making it, and I would love to hear other ideas for scenes that you would like me to try to do, either with this style of animation or something similar. I'm rediscovering my passion for animation right now and trying out some new and different formats. So thank you all for watching. Click all the buttons below if you haven't already, and there will be more videos like this very soon. All right, peace.